Imagine, if you will, the quiet of a German forest. It's cold, really cold, early winter maybe. You know, the kind of air that bites. Your breath just hangs there white, and the leaves underfoot, they crunch like glass. Sunlight's trying to get through the bare branches, making these long, kind of skeletal shadows. It's beautiful, but empty feeling. Desolate. But then you see it, a flash of color. Bright blue, red, yellow. A kid's bicycle helmet just lying there by the road. It's so out of place against all the brown and gray, you know? A little splash of childhood. And right away it feels wrong, unsettling. And someone spots it, sees a kid's bike nearby too, and that instinct kicks in a lost child. Gotta report it.
Yeah, and that initial discovery, that simple observation by a passerby, it's often the very first thread, isn't it? The thing that starts to unravel something much, much darker, hidden beneath the surface. It really speaks to how important just paying attention can be.
That unraveling, though, it actually started years before and far away. Bilbais, Sharqiya, Egypt, 1990. That's where Eman Hassan was born.
She sounds like she was, well, a really bright spark. Ambitious, her family, respectable, kind, really close, supportive, the kind of family you'd hoped for. And Eman, she was smart, driven. She had big academic dreams, a doctorate, a top job in education. For her, education was the priority, way above getting married early, which might have been, more traditional. And her family, they backed her. They really supported her dreams, let her carve her own path.
And it's precisely that trust, that ambition, that can sometimes make someone vulnerable, a target even. When Eman was 25, a friend introduced her to a man named Abdelrahim, originally from Sohag in Egypt, but he'd been living in Germany for, over 12 years, had German citizenship. He painted a picture, didn't he? A practical guy, influenced by German ways, a hotel manager.
Oh, right, the hotel manager claim. He even added that little qualifier. Not a large hotel, but a manager. Exactly. And then the kicker. He said he needed to get married and move within 1 month of this visit to Egypt, like right now. Eman, understandably, was hesitant. Marriage. So fast, it didn't fit her plans, her doctorate.
But he was persuasive.
Yeah.
Really persuasive. He spun it, didn't he? She could do her doctorate in Germany, better universities, better life. He basically offered her dream, but on his terms. Her family, they were skeptical at first. That timeline was just so rushed. But Abdelrahim, he seemed, ideal, charming. They even went to Sohag, visited his family. The feeling was a bit off, maybe. His family seemed reliant on him, maybe a bit uncomfortable. But nothing screamed danger to Eman's family. And he had excuses, right? Reasons for not marrying someone from his hometown.
He mirrored her ambition, twisted it, made his proposal seem like the key to her future. It's classic manipulation, really. So in just 1 week, Eman's family agreed. 1 month later, Eman and Abdelrahim are married on a plane to Germany.
Wow. Okay, let's unpack this. Yeah. Because that dream, it shattered pretty much the second they landed.
Instantly.
The apartment, it wasn't just modest, it was tiny. A one-room and hall setup, more like, temporary housing for a migrant, not the home of a supposed hotel manager with German citizenship. And then line number 2 hits. His job. Not a hotel manager. Not even close. He was a chef in a clinic. It's just such a stark difference from the image he'd sold her. And on top of that, his extreme frugality, just plain stinginess, became obvious right away.
Think about that shock. Eman wasn't just in a new country. She was suddenly trapped in this completely different, isolating reality. Stripped of everything she expected, cut off from her support system back home. Abusers often work like that, creating a vacuum. Then, early 2016, Eman finds out she's pregnant. First child.
And she kept quiet about the problems, didn't she? Didn't want to worry her family. They thought she was living this perfect life. And that upbringing, keep family business private, it worked against her.
Absolutely. Abdelrahim used that. He started controlling things, stopped her from learning German, from understanding the society or the laws. He discouraged her education, the very thing he'd promised to support. Insisted her place was at home, looking after the baby. Total reversal.
And the cycle just got deeper. Faster. First child is born, and almost immediately he's pushing for a second, saying it would, strengthen their bond, make them a real family. And Eman, maybe still hoping things could get better, she agrees. Gets pregnant again, has their second child. But instead of getting better, things got worse. Constant problems, arguments, and then the physical violence started.
Yet she still felt trapped in silence. Partly that secrecy thing, but there was something more sinister. Abdelrahim's manipulation about German law. He fed her this lie, this terrifying idea that if she ever reported the abuse, the authorities would take her children away. Until things improved.
God, that's awful. Using her kids against her like that.
It's chillingly effective, isn't it? Weaponizing her lack of knowledge about a foreign legal system. It creates immense fear and dependence. But slowly, Eman started learning, picking things up about German society, about the actual laws. She began to see his lies for what they were. And his hypocrisy must have been glaring, claiming German ways when it suited him, like insisting she needed to work for money.
Right, but then reverting to conservative Saidi traditions from his home region whenever he wanted to control her actions.
Exactly, creating this completely inconsistent, unpredictable, and utterly controlling environment.
Then came the moment everything changed, almost by accident, right? She's on her phone scrolling, and she sees this online post, a German citizen talking about increasing child support payments. And that's when the penny drops. The horrible truth. The German government pays child support 285 euros per child per month. And she learns that being married lowers his taxes. The realization must have been like ice water. He didn't marry her for love or even companionship. He married her, pushed for children, purely for the money. He was pocketing the kids' allowances, using them for household bills, contributing nothing himself.
What's fascinating here is how that one piece of information, just a random online post, became the key. It unlocked the real motivation behind years of lies and control. It shows how vital access to information is for victims trapped in isolation.
So she confronts him, armed with this truth, demands the child support money directly.
And his reaction, predictable, sadly. Violence, a huge fight, physical abuse. He tells her to get off her phone, stop looking things up. Her knowledge was a threat to his control.
But something had shifted in Eman. She knew her rights now, or at least enough to act. She finally starts talking to her sister back in Egypt, tells her everything, the abuse, the money, the lies. Her sister's horrified, tells her, come home, now.
But Eman's terrified. The kids, they have German nationality. Abdelrahim wouldn't let them go to Egypt. She was sure he'd stop her seeing them again.
That's a terrible bind to be in.
It is. But she takes this incredibly brave step. She finds a women's domestic violence organization in Germany. She uses legal channels, gets herself and the children out of that house and into a shelter run by the organization, and she starts legal proceedings against him. Finally.
And you can see his panic then, can't you? If we connect this to the bigger picture, he suddenly gets it. The real legal trouble he could be in, his whole strategy shifts. He tries reconciliation, begs her to come back for the children, asks her to talk the case.
But Eman holds firm. Despite being scared, she refuses to change her story. The truth was out.
But this fight was far from over. It dragged on for 6 years. 6 years. Up to 2022. Eman finally decides, right, divorce is the only way. But Abdelrahim ramps up the manipulation again, plays on her kindness, her concern for the kids, tells her divorce will ruin everyone, destroy their home, and she hesitates, temporarily pulls back from the divorce, goes back home, but crucially, she keeps those legal proceedings open secretly. She didn't fully trust him anymore.
It's that insidious cycle, isn't it? Victims get pulled back in. Hope, fear, the kids.
Yeah.
It's so complex. Abusers know exactly which buttons to push. Then, less than a year later, he suggests a trip. Egypt, a relative's wedding in Sohag, his hometown, and he insists, let's make it a surprise for your parents, don't tell them we're coming.
Alarm bells should be ringing, right? But Eman may be trying to keep some peace or maybe just wary. She tells her sister about the trip, just not her parents.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Very smart.
They get to Egypt, and then silence. Eman just disappears off the radar, phone's off. A day goes by, then 2, 4, a whole week, no word. After that week, Abdelrahim flies back to Germany. Alone. And his story, Eman never even came with him from Germany. She abandoned the kids, just walked out.
The audacity. It's breathtaking.
Then, another week later, Eman's sister gets this call. Unknown number. It's Eman. She sounds panicked. She's speaking cryptically, can barely get words out. She hints. Sohag. She's in Sohag, Abdelrahim's hometown.
Incredible bravery from Eman to make that call, and her sister to act on such fragmented, terrified information. That takes guts, so the family rushes to Abdelrahim's place in Sohag.
And they find her. Eman and the kids are there, being held captive by his family. It's a huge confrontation you can only imagine. But they get Eman and the children out. They contact Abdelrahim back in Germany. His excuse. He claims he held her there to stop her pushing the legal case in Germany, still blaming her. The family insists, divorce, now, no going back. And they discover he took her passport and her phone back to Germany with him, deliberately stranding her.
Just layer upon layer of control and malice.
It's unbelievable. But even after that, after being literally abducted and held captive, Eman felt she had to go back to Germany. Because of the kids' nationality, Abdelrahim could legally claim them there. She couldn't risk losing them by staying in Egypt, so she returns and keeps her case going with the women's organization.
And Abdelrahim, he just escalates. If we connect this to the bigger picture, his actions become even more calculated. Isolate her, destroy her reputation. That's the goal now. He starts this vicious smear campaign, spreading rumors, trying to paint her as immoral, implying affairs, just vile stuff.
And then another twist. Early 2023, Eman finds out she's pregnant again, their third child, and Abdelrahim, while publicly trashing her name, has the gall to deny paternity.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Just shocking hypocrisy.
Tests prove he's the father, of course. At this point, Eman is done, completely broken by it all, but resolute. She decides, as soon as this baby is born, she's leaving, going back to Egypt for good, finalizing the divorce, escaping him permanently. She tells her friends this, tells her sister. She mentions some other strange, troubling things happening too. Late 2024, she gives birth to their third child. Then Abdelrahim drops another bombshell. His younger brother, Khaled, is moving into their tiny apartment with 3 kids. Eman questions this, obviously. How would that even work? It leads to a massive argument. But Abdelrahim insists he will not back down. That insistence, looking back, it feels really sinister, doesn't it? Like part of a plan.
A hidden agenda, definitely. Yeah. Adding another person loyal to him to that small, tense space, it changes the dynamic completely.
Then comes the last contact. Early November 2024. Eman calls her sister. Her voice, it's just filled with tension, fear. She ends the call really abruptly, strangely. And after that call, nothing. Eman vanishes. 4 days pass. No calls, no messages, no social media, just silence. A heavy, terrifying silence.
And the contrast is immediate and chilling. Ayman's desperate fear in that last call versus Abdelrahim's reaction. Her family, frantic, calls him. His story. Oh, Eman just left, walked out, abandoned him and the kids. And he claims he filed a missing person report with the police.
But a week goes by and he seems totally unconcerned. Life as usual. Eman's sister, she's not buying it. She posts online, reaching out to the Egyptian community in Germany. Has anyone seen my sister? People advise her. Call the German police yourself. Verify his story about the report.
Smart advice. Don't take his word for it.
And the truth comes out, he lied. Abdelrahim never filed any report. Her sister confronts him with this. Now he's caught. He sees she's determined. So then, finally, he files a missing person report, more than 2 weeks after she disappeared.
Only when forced. Only when his lie was exposed. It speaks volumes.
Even then, he keeps up the public act, posting on social media, accusing Eman of abandoning her children, doubling down on the slander. Her family tells the police everything. Suspicions point squarely at him. They mention the Sohag abduction. This man has a history of making her disappear. Police question Abdelrahim. But no physical evidence, no trace of Eman. He goes back to his life, doesn't seem worried at all, even talks about hiring a nanny, maybe remarrying.
Chillingly cold.
7 months, 7 long months drag by. No sign of Eman. Her family is losing hope, but they don't stop searching, don't stop pushing. Slight pause. And then, remember that forest, that discarded helmet? A person driving near a German forest sees it. A child's helmet, a bike by the road. Just like before, they do the right thing, call the police. Worried about a lost child, so the search starts again. Police, dogs, teams moving into the woods.
And this is where it all converges. The police work, the dog's instincts, that chance discovery, they don't find a child. But the dogs, they become agitated, start digging frantically right in one specific spot.
And they find it. A sheet, stained with blood, wrapped around, a body, completely decomposed. Inside the sheet, torn clothes, a dress, a brown head covering a hijab, the body itself. Unrecognizable. They send it for forensic analysis. The report comes back. It's a woman, 30s, cause of death, poison. Signs of a struggle. The torn clothing confirms it. The hijab points to a Muslim woman. Police connect the dots. Missing person report, 34-year-old woman, missing for months. Lived about 5 kilometers from where the body was found. They do a DNA test, and it confirms the absolute worst. It's Eman Hassan.
Yeah.
Just devastating. And it highlights, again, how the smallest clue, that helmet, that bite, can break a case wide open. Justice often hinges on these seemingly tiny details. German police move fast. They arrest Abdelrahim immediately. Sources say he confessed and implicated his brother, Khaled. The confession. It lays out the whole horrifying plan. The decision to kill Eman was made when Khaled moved in. They poisoned her food, waited for her to die. Then, in the dead of night, wrapped her body in that sheet, drove her out to the forest, dug a shallow grave, buried her, and just drove back, planning for her to simply vanish forever.
A full calculation.
It's the final sickening act in years of deception, from the fake hotel manager to the clinic chef. from the supposed loving husband to a controlling, violent abuser, from a father to a cold-blooded murderer. All that suffering Eman endured trying to protect her children. And the irony, it's almost unbearable. The truth finally comes out because of a child's helmet and bicycle, the very symbols of the children she loved and fought for until the very end. Eamon's story is just, it's heartbreaking. Her resilience against such profound cruelty and the terrible ultimate price she paid just for trying to escape, trying to find safety for herself and her kids.
It really is.
Yeah.
But her strength, even after she was gone, it's what ultimately exposed the truth. It's a powerful, tragic reminder that secrets like this, they fester, but eventually light gets in. And the fight isn't over. The legal process continues, especially concerning the children. They have German nationality. Her family in Egypt is fighting with everything they have to bring them home, to raise them away from all this darkness.
Ayman's story is such a stark warning, isn't it? That sometimes the most dangerous lies aren't the big flashy ones, they're the quiet ones. The persistent ones, whispered day after day inside a home, behind closed doors. It really makes you wonder, what other truths are out there, just buried beneath the surface, waiting for someone to notice a small, out-of-place detail, waiting to be uncovered, if only we look closely enough.